Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Mandala Effect. Thank you so much for joining me. This week I've been a bit fired up, so we're talking about becoming the master of your life. Now, this is an important message for myself that I picked up on years and years ago, back in my days of following Tony Robbins and similar motivational speakers, before I'd really dove into the spiritual journey, the more softer, mysterious side of things. And I thought, and I was learning how to um, change my life and create a life that I want to lead. Before I understood anything about the subconscious mind, before I understood anything about shadow work and Jungian psychology, before I understood anything about how we can literally change our genetic expressions, I learned how to start taking responsibility for my life and making the changes that I needed to make. And this has been probably one of the biggest teachings I have learned that have kept me on this journey of growth. And I really want to share it with you because I know a lot of people who've been through a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit. I'm going through a lot of shit. Life doesn't stop for anybody, and there are always going to be challenges and new things that we have to face. This is a journey. This is not a linear path that we're born and then we live a few years and we might go on some nice holidays and then we die. There are challenges. There are things that we have to overcome. There are trials and lessons, and we're often called to step up, rise up to the challenge. And this is where a lot of people fall down. A lot of people cower back. They face resistance and they turn around. And so the challenges get louder and louder and louder. And the universe eventually will smack you upside the head and say, are you going to fucking listen to me or not? So I believe that we must become the master of our lives if we're going to face these challenges with grace. So buckle in, enjoy, maybe get yourself a nice calming herbal tea or take yourself out for some fresh air, because I'm hoping that if you're facing something at the moment, if you're going through something, that this might just give you the kick up the backside you need to rise up, to take the next step, and to keep moving forward. So what does it mean to be the master of your life? So mastery has so many meanings, so many lessons, so many versions of mastery. And it can, when I say it, mastery, be the master, it sounds very masculine. It sounds very harsh, but we all have feminine and masculine within us. We are called to embrace our masculine when we want to create, when we need motivation, when we tap into our will. We are called to be in our masculine. So yes, whilst the universe is flowy and we can flow with the universe and we can flow through life, and allowing that flow allows for ease and grace, we are also called to step up, take responsibility as the master of our lives. So taking responsibility is the first step to getting you anywhere in life. Taking responsibility that it is within your control. Your life circumstances may not be in your control. The fact that I was diagnosed with cancer was not within my control. Some of the things that I'm going through at the moment are not within my control, but we cannot fall victim to the victim mentality, because the second we start to have a little pity party, we're giving our power away. Becoming a victim of circumstance is giving your power away. You are a powerful creator of your reality. Your mind is literally creating your reality. So the second you become victim, the worse these experiences are going to feel. So you can choose to be the victim or choose to be the master. and you choose to be the master by taking responsibility and saying, okay, so where can I create some change? What do I need to do to experience this differently? Because this is the other thing, is that no, you may not be able to control your external circumstances, but you can control how you experience them. So you can control whether you're going to be the victim or whether you're going to be the master. You can control whether you set some boundaries or lie down and let it happen. You can control whether you're going to fight or whether you're going to run. It's, this is what is within your control. And when we're choosing how we want to experience life, this is really important as well when we think about us being the creators of our reality. Our thoughts, our mind, our unconscious mind is all creating our reality. Everything that you see in the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So if you want to experience life in a negative way, that's what's going to keep coming back to you. That is what you're going to see. And if you choose to see a more positive and optimistic way, then you will be presented with more opportunities and more possibilities. It's just how, it's like a simple rule of the law of attraction. Again, makes it like you have the power to make your own decisions and to set your own boundaries. In order to do this, you really need to, I think this is one of the most important things when being the master of your life, is to know thyself. So to know who you are, know what you want, where you're going, and who you need to become to get there. Then you can make decisions aligned with that. And then you can set the boundaries that are going to help you get to where you need to be. So say you are on you have a goal to maybe lose some weight, get your body more in shape. Then your friends invite you out for pizza and beer. Like, you have the decision to make and the boundaries to set around that. Like, what are you going to allow yourself to do? Like, what's more important to you? Is it the feeling healthy and strong, or is it the going for like fast food and alcohol with your friends? Now, I'm not saying that's bad, because I love nothing more than a pizza and a beer, but there's, you get to choose based on your, say, I don't know, what your week has been like, what your, where do you feel like you can allow yourself a little treat? Now, and then I can also go into the mindset in which you're doing this thing. So when you can choose to go and have the pizza and the beer, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So go and have the pizza and the beer, and then enjoy having the pizza and the beer. Because if you're having the pizza and the beer thinking, I shouldn't be doing this, you're giving your power away again. Because that frequency is just going to mess up. It's going to make it even worse for you. It's like going to make it like zaps all the nutrients out of what you're eating. It makes it even worse. So you're giving your power away when you made that decision. So stand firm in your decision and bloody enjoy it. So it's a bit of a fun example there for you, because I changed my diet and my health a few years ago, and I had different health goals a few years ago, and then I got ill, and so I really drastically changed them, and I now have a very, very different view on how I eat food, what I consume. And sometimes I can fall victim to, I shouldn't be eating this, when actually, why not? Because I care for myself so much more than I used to. Actually, a pizza and a beer is not going to hurt me. So again, you have the power over how you experience certain things, the decisions you make, the boundaries that you set, there and the way in which you experience your life. So when it comes to knowing thyself, who you are, what you want, who you need to become, a big part of this is, yes, we might consciously know what we think we want. Yes, we might consciously think that this is who I need to become. But what we're not often factoring in is the unconscious mind. So what is beneath the surface? So in order to really fully be the master of your life, you need to be making the unconscious conscious. You need to be bringing the beliefs, the shadow parts of yourself into into your conscious reality, so that you can face it and be aware of it, and then you can make better informed decisions, set better boundaries, understand you and your life more. So you're not just this body, you are not just your circumstances. There is so much more going on that I highly recommend you start to become aware of. And you can do this through things like shadow work, dream interpretation, just using your external reality as a mirror and thinking, okay, so this is the state of my mind at the moment. What do I want to change? And that takes me on to my next point of, where are you being called to step up and be the master of your life? So your external reality, the current circumstances that you have going on in your life at the moment, are an excellent mirror as to the state that you're in, and where you're being asked to step up and make a change or address a certain part of your life. So if something isn't going right, say, let's use your health as an example again, then you can have a look at what's not going right. Oh, you're saying yes to pizza and beer every night. Well, where are you going to change? Where are you going to take your responsibility back? Where are you going to take your power back? And how are you going to make that change? And I want you to look at every single aspect of your life. So look at your health, your wealth, your relationships, and decide where you need to start to make some changes. So if there's like a few areas of your life, and I have an amazing worksheet on my website that you can get. In the show notes, there'll be a link to the free resources. Just go in there, download the worksheet, and it'll help you just assess every aspect of your life. So from your relationships, your friendships, your family, your spirituality, your spiritual growth, your finances, your work, your career, your fun, where are you having fun? And if one of these aspects is like lower than an 8 out of 10, you really need to look at it and you need to make some changes. And it's a balancing act. Life is a balance. Like I said, it's not a linear journey. Life is a balance, and you're going to be given different things to integrate the further you go. So have a look and say, maybe this month your health needs looking at. Next month it might be your finances. And then when potentially facing a challenge in one area of your life, the other question to ask yourself am I going to let this knock every other area of my life? So if I'm having a problem at work, am I going to let it affect my health and my relationships? If something has come up that I was not expecting, am I going to let it control my day? Am I going to allow myself to spiral into a pit of despair? Or am I going to give myself the love I need, give myself the time I need, pick myself up, dust myself off, and go again? Because you are always being called to go again. Come on, keep moving. Go through it. The only way out of these challenges is through it. If you run away from it, I can guarantee you it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. So you have to go through it. And this is where, actually, if you're having a challenge in one area of your life, the other areas of your life could bring that balance back. So say you're experiencing a health challenge. So when I had cancer, for example, I really used work to help bring me some positivity in my life. At the time, I was a jewelry designer. So I was designing beautiful yellow diamond necklaces for people who were surprising their fiance for their 30th birthday. And it was so magical. Like, I was experiencing some real fairy tale moments. So I used my work and my friendships and my family and my relationships to balance out the health issues that I was facing. So I, I didn't let my health throw me into a pit of despair, because also if I had, there is no way I would have healed in the way that I did. And me being the master of my life and taking responsibility for my life in that situation absolutely was a huge part in my healing. And I have some of the videos on how I did that and the methods that I used in order to heal. And most people would just hand their life away to the doctors and say, okay, you fix me. Well, no, actually, your life is your responsibility. I know you couldn't control the fact that you got cancer. I know you can't help that. But here you go. You're being given an opportunity to step into your power. So are you going to take it? So I hope I'm making myself kind of clear without being too forceful that, your life is your responsibility, and you are being given such an amazing opportunity. Every single day is a new lifetime. Every single day is a new day that you get to experience and that you get to master and live. And how can you live this life more fully? You can't live this life fully if you're not taking control of your life. If you're not taking responsibility for your life, you cannot live your life fully if you are not being the master of your life. And so I just briefly touched on this, but another question I've written down here is, are you going to let your subconscious or your past run your present and your future? So your your life is being created by a record that your subconscious mind has of your past experiences. So if you don't make changes, you're just going to end up reliving your past. So every next present moment will just be a reflection of something you've already experienced, because you're not learning the lessons and you're not making changes. You're not creating your life. You're letting your you're not consciously creating your life. You are unconsciously creating your life. And this is this has been a huge thing to become aware of for myself, was that I was questioning why these patterns kept on showing up, and in my life, certain patterns in relationships and in finances. And so I was questioning these, and now I understand that, oh, it's my unconscious patterns. It's stuff that's been conditioned into me my whole entire life, probably before. And it's stuff that I really, really need to face and change if I'm going to actually live the life that I want to live. So this is the other part, is that you get to design your life. You are the creator of your reality. This is where it gets fun. You get to sit and think about what you want. And since I had cancer, I think I've really struggled to dream. I've really struggled every day, for such a long time, was just get through it. Let's just heal. And then I've been trying to figure out where I want to live, what I want to do. And now just recently I'm like, wow, I can dream again. Wow, I can vision again. Wow, I have this amazing opportunity to live my life again. So let's go and live it. Like, what do I want to create? Like, I have huge aspirations for this podcast. I have huge aspirations for my coaching practice. I'm about to launch a new group coaching program in an area that I am extremely passionate about. And, I have huge aspirations, which I'm really leaning into at the moment, because sometimes when challenges do arise, we can forget, oh, I get to design my life. I get to choose what I want to do. I get to choose where I want to live. I lived in London. I've lived all over the world. I lived in Australia for a while. I came back and I lived in Derbyshire. I lived in Derbyshire for a while. I came back. I lived in London. I lived in London, and then after my cancer journey, I decided I wanted to change. I wanted to live by the sea, so I came and I moved to Folkestone in Kent. And I didn't even know this town existed before I moved here. But you get to choose where you want to live. You get to choose your partner. Now, and you get to choose the work that you do. But I'm just going to go into this because depending on how spiritual you are or what you believe, yes, we get to make these decisions as we move throughout life, but our soul came here to learn certain things, to go on a certain journey, to overcome certain obstacles in order to grow and evolve. So our human existence is really about our soul's evolution, and we're all here as divinity expressing itself in and experiencing itself in an infinite amount of ways. So you kind of then have to ask the question, well, do I really have free will? Do I really have a choice in who my partner is? Do I really have a choice in the work that I'm going to do? But just for the sake of our humanness and the human journey that we are on, and the science and the wisdom and the knowledge that we have available to us, yes, we do. We get to make these decisions. So if you don't like your work, you get to quit your job and choose a different career path. You're never too old, you're never not skilled enough. You can literally do whatever you want. Anything that you tell me otherwise is a limiting belief and something you need to reprogram and address within your subconscious, or even just you're probably already aware of it. So if you are unhappy in your relationship, you get to change your partner. If you are unhappy where you live, you get to choose where you live. If you are unhappy with your sofa, you get to sell your sofa and buy a new one. You get to have these choices. I do believe in leaning in and opening up to divinity and allowing divinity to live through us. That makes these decisions a lot easier. It attracts things to us a lot easier. It helps us live with more grace. But in every day, we get to choose whether we turn left or we turn right. And so in that aspect, yes, you have free will, and yes, you do get to design your life. And so on that note, I highly, highly recommend you becoming the master of your life in every single area. If you fall down, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off. If you are, I know this sounds very forceful, very disciplined, and something that I have sort of shied away from in the last couple of years, because I realised how regimented I was in my life before I had cancer. And so I've very much leaned into I have no routine, I have no schedule, I do what I want when I want. And that worked for a time, but now I'm learning kind of a different way and integrating both sides of it, I guess the masculine and the feminine way of living and working. But I do just want to add as well that if you are looking, like, you don't have to, in order to be the master of your life, I don't mean beat yourself up if you're tired. Like, if you're tired, take a break. If you need love, give yourself love. If you need to go on holiday, if you need somebody to look after you, if you need some help, please ask. Like, being the master of your life is also knowing when you need help and asking for it. It is knowing know thyself and live to the highest standards that you possibly can. But if you need to take a break, then go and take a break. It doesn't mean that you have to be a master achiever. It doesn't mean that you have to burn out being the master of your life. It just means you take responsibility for who you are and how you show up in this world. And that then helps you have the most positive experience that you possibly can. I hope that this has inspired you to become the master of your life and do it every single day. And this is what keeps me going on my spiritual and self-discovery journey. This is what brings you this podcast. Even on the days that I don't feel like recording, I put some lippy on and I get out my microphone and I record a podcast, because I know how important this is for me and for my listeners. So it's a balance, it's a mix, it's a discipline, but it is one of the most important things that helps me live my life in the way that I do. And that's really beautiful. So thank you so much for listening. I would love to hear your main takeaway from this. If you like it, please share with a friend. I also, if you are looking for help being the master of your life, you're looking for a guide on this life, you don't have to do it all on your own. Like I say, if you need help, ask for it. I am a certified spiritual and Jungian life coach. I am here to help. I can help you break through the subconscious blocks. I can help you integrate your shadow. I can help you create the life that you are absolutely dreaming of. Anything is possible. Your only limit is you. So if you would like to book in a call with me, I offer a 30-minute complimentary call to anybody who's interested in working with me. The link is in the show notes for you to book. And with that, I will love you and leave you. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you soon.